You're running this global business, building partnerships with giants like Aurelo and LoungePass, and somehow doing it all while hopping countries, meeting with teeny tiny local business owners in countries all over the world.
You're spending all this money and all this effort promoting your destination and bringing travelers there. But if they come to your destination and all they do is spend a bunch of money at McDonald's and Starbucks, most of the money that they spend in your country actually leaves your country. If they could spend that same amount of money on local businesses, you're actually retaining that money and keeping the spend within the country, so it actually circulates and benefits your local economy.
How do you schedule time to find balance, chill, time to hang out with your wife?
We communicate all the time and we're very much in sync with this. She's like, you have time, you're just not allocating the time.
The Tuna Show, the Tuna Show, the Tuna Show, the Tuna Show.
Welcome, Sophia. I'm so excited you're here. From the moment I first heard about Global Nomad Pass a year and a half ago, I wanted to know what was on your to-do list. And as Global Nomad Pass has grown, so has my curiosity. How would you describe relatively briefly what it is that you do?
I'm the founder and CEO of Global Nomad Pass, which is a membership that rewards you for supporting local businesses all around the world. And so with the membership in hand, you can unlock discounts up to 50% off at some amazing local businesses. We're talking about restaurants, cafes, co-working spaces, fitness studios, barbershops, salons, spas. And we're currently live in more than 25 destinations all around the world. We're always adding more, which is great. The complexity and the interesting part of our business as well is that we have 3 channels. So we sell B2C, so business to consumer. You can come directly to our website and buy the pass. $79, you add it to your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, it's on your phone. But we also sell B2B. So a large portion of our users actually get their pass for free because we sell to airlines and travel insurance firms and other travel brands. So if you're a brand that's targeting international travelers, we sell you a Global Nomad Pass memberships in bulk, and then you buy them in bulk, and then you just basically bundle them with your product or service as like a free upgrade or an upselling tool or a loyalty or a retention tool. So very similar to Priority Pass. A lot of people who have a Priority Pass for their airport lounge access, they didn't pay for it. They got it with their credit card because it was bundled in for free. Similar strategy there. And then we also sell B2G. So we sell to governments. So we sell to tourism boards and governments who take a similar approach. They buy memberships from us in bulk, and then they give them for free to reward travelers for choosing their destination. So it's like, here, welcome to Morocco, and here's a Global Nomad Pass. Go support a bunch of Moroccan businesses during your time here.
That's amazing. That's so cool. And I'd also have never heard the letters B to G before. So good to know. Wow. How do you choose locations where to next launch Global Nomad Pass?
I'd say in the beginning, it was really important for us to pick some of the more common travel destinations because we really wanted to make sure that we were going where travelers were going. And so we looked at a particular segment like digital nomads. What are some of the common destinations that digital nomads like to go to? We made sure that we had a built presence and established our partner network in these destinations. But now as we've grown, digital nomads are one segment of travelers that we serve, but we serve all international travelers. We have solo backpackers, we have leisure tourists, we have vacationers, we have corporate travelers as well. You can imagine when we're selling to travel insurance firms or eSIM companies or even airlines, it's no longer about just digital nomads. It's actually really now about serving international travelers. Our destination selection strategy is largely based on where we have a critical mass of interest. And we always like to now partner with the tourism board. So if we can get a partnership with the tourism board in place, we can get a destination in place. The support that we have there, we've just seen it really makes everything else so much easier.
So are you doing a bunch of outreach to different places and seeing who bites? And it's like, yes, we absolutely want this, and then moving that forward?
A little bit. I mean, now it's less about doing mass outreach. Now we're getting a lot of inbound requests, which has been really great. We've, right now we're running a campaign with Marketing Greece. And so anyone over the next 12 months who's got a trip booked to Greece, you actually can get a free Global Nomad Pass. So that saves you $79. You get the Global Nomad Pass. And then there's over 5 cities in Greece that we've launched our partner network in. So when you go to Greece, you can support Greek businesses. And then this is also a membership that's valid for the whole year. So even after your trip to Greece, anywhere you are in the world, you can use this pass to unlock discounts. And it'll remind you of your time in Greece. It's because you went to Greece that you got this pass. And so it's a nice way to continue that lasting relationship with the traveler.
That's brilliant. Love
Thank you.
How do you do the initial research on a location and begin finding potential partners?
Yeah, there's a number of different factors that go into this. A lot of it is actually talking to our customers, right? So we talk to tourism boards. We go to industry events and trade shows, and we do a lot of outreach on LinkedIn and via email as well. But it's hard to get into sales mode right away. I mean, I don't think that's ever a solution. I think what we really want to do is just understand where destinations are in their planning process, in their strategies, in their marketing approaches. I think a lot of destinations have run a very similar playbook for many, many years, which is, okay, well, we know that we have to spend this marketing budget on promoting our destination. Let's just run a bunch of Instagram ads and, let's hope that we have more visitors this year versus last year. Or let's pay some influencers to come to our destination, give them a 7-day all-inclusive trip, get them to film a bunch of content and hope their followers come over and book. And so, that might be one part of the journey, but there's other elements that some of the destinations maybe haven't thought of that we can provide some input on. We have a lot of data now. We have a lot of experience. We can kind of do some pattern recognition and see where they're at. So it's a conversation. We want to really make sure that the destination is embracing the mindset of wanting to be innovative, because this is an innovative solution. And, not every destination has thought about this. And, for us, what it comes down to is that you're spending all this money and all this effort on top of funnel, right? And like promoting your destination and bringing travelers there. But if they come to your destination and all they do is spend a bunch of money at McDonald's and Starbucks, most of the money that they spend in your country actually leaves your country. Whereas if they could spend that same amount of money on local businesses, you're actually retaining that money and keeping the spend within the country. So it actually circulates and benefits your local economy. We think that there's a lot of power in actually systemizing that and making that something that's much more intentional.
So a year and a half ago, you were like a one-man band traveling to all of these destinations, meeting with every single cafe owner or whatever in person. Is that still the case today?
It's not. No, we have field representatives.
That's a relief.
It is. Yes, I think when we met, that was certainly in the in the early chapters of Global Nomad Pass, and so, but that was invaluable because it allowed me to really meet the local business owners myself, understand what their needs are. We have many different stakeholders in this business, right? And so when I understood the needs of the local business owners, understood what it took for us to be able to support them, we said, look, you're a hidden gem and we really want to drive some more awareness and traffic so that more people can discover you. And they're like, yeah, we'd love that. I'm like, fantastic. We're not going to charge you anything. We want you to come on board our platform. We're going to help you with marketing. So we are going to promote you on social media. We're going to write blog articles to help you with, your discovery on SEO. I run a podcast as well. Come on my show. Tell the world why you opened up a cafe in Bali and what makes your business so great. I want to hear about your story. We're going to send emails to our members. Like when you're in Chiang Mai, go to this amazing cafe. It's run by a single mother. We want your story to shine through. You roast your own coffee. Nobody knows that. Why would they ever go to Starbucks if they knew that? And so we really do all of this awareness building work so that our members are attracted by these businesses. And when they go there and they show their Global Nomad Pass, they get an exclusive discount that the owner can decide what it is, right? So they decide their discount ahead of time. We don't take a commission. We don't take any fees. It genuinely is an opportunity for our members to support the local businesses, support hidden gems, discover places they would have never otherwise known about, and get a discount in the process. But fast forward a year and a half, now we have local field teams in all of our destinations, and as we expand to new destinations, that's a critical part of the model, is that locals know their city better than I do. So we want to make sure that it's that local curation and that local selection that is really coming through.
So it's locals and they're like, oh, I already know 10 places that would be perfect.
Exactly. We have pretty rigorous selection criteria that allows us to gauge if you're a good fit for the platform. And then we also build a relationship directly with the business owners. And so we want to make sure that all of that is nicely intact before we just willy-nilly list a bunch of places on our platform. This is really a partnership effort.
How did working for corporate giants like Procter & Gamble inform the tasks you do today, like how you work, how you prioritize, or stuff that you're like, I won't ever do it like that?
Well, I think in general, one of the things that big companies are great at is processes and systems. And, as a startup, I feel like a lot of founders are almost allergic to the word process and systems, certainly early on. But for me, I came from that world where I understood where you need systems and processes and maybe where you don't. And I think that's actually the fine balance for me now in the startup world, which is we want to be able to go quickly. We want to be able to, move fast and break things, right? The typical Silicon Valley mantra. So that feels very much against the idea of having systems and processes. But I have been very diligent about having the right systems and processes in place. And so, as we scale now, we had a process in place. Even when we were scaling from, one destination to 10 destinations, we knew what a destination rollout kit looked like. We knew exactly what a partner onboarding kit looked like. We knew how to drive demand. We knew how to templatize certain things. So I think having those systems and processes early on, maybe earlier than what some other founders may have necessarily thought of, for me was always with an eye towards scale. And now as we're in more of a scaling mode, you don't have time to scale and develop a process from scratch, right? I think now what we do is we're testing our own processes. Like we had processes that were serving us for the last 6 months, but now we have introduced new complexity. Maybe those same processes no longer serve us, but it's a lot easier to take a process and amend it as opposed to not having a process and creating it from scratch while everything else is going at full speed.
Before we get into your extreme to-do list, I am just curious in general about like, how do you schedule time or not schedule time to find balance, chill, time to hang out with your wife, all that type of stuff?
Yeah. What I have come to realize for me is that fortunately or unfortunately, if it's not scheduled, it doesn't happen. I think I have so much going on, so many balls in the air that I'm trying to juggle. I'm human and I'm really just trying to do the best that I can. But unfortunately for me, I am very much driven by the schedule. And so it serves as a to-do list. It serves as a mental checkpoint, if you will. It's like, okay, like, did I get everything done? Did I need to? There's almost like a roboticism to the way that I operate in that sense, right? Which, sometimes is not so great because, you kind of take the spontaneity out of it. But I'm currently in a mode where spontaneity isn't something that I'm actively craving. What I'm actually craving is productivity. Yeah. And so I schedule things like going to the gym. If I am going to have date night with my wife, we schedule it so we make sure it happens, because unfortunately in my situation, the free time is limited, and whatever free time is there oftentimes gets swallowed up by work. And so a lot of that comes down to boundary setting, and I'll be the first to admit I'm not the best at it, but I do really try to live by the schedule. And for me, it's been incredibly helpful, right? Like I've been able to schedule things that matter to me, schedule appointments, schedule, hangouts with friends. And I remember when I didn't have this mindset, I was like, my work calendar is my work calendar, and that's it. Well, unfortunately, the work calendar then just creeps and takes over everything else. And so I wasn't going to the gym because I have no time. And it's actually my wife. She's like, well, you have time. You're just not allocating the time. And therefore, if it's not time that's protected by the things that matter to you, the time just gets eaten up by other things because you're just on this autopilot mode. And so, don't let this presentation that you're working on take 7 hours. Time box it to 3 hours, and then, force yourself to get it done in 3 hours. And then you've got 4 hours freed up to do other things that you want to do. Very, very helpful realization, which sounds super obvious now, but, thinking about it and executing it are two different things. Yeah,
absolutely. I think so many people, especially anybody remotely entrepreneurial, absolutely falls victim to that. So very relatable, I think. Do you use Google Calendar pretty exclusively for your to-do list / schedule?
I do. Google Calendar for sure. I have the times in there, color coded. What's a meeting? What's a work period? What's a fun activity? What's a meal? Everything is color coded there, so it makes it easier for me to see as well. And then I can also invite people to certain things. Google Calendar is certainly my go-to. I also use the Notes app on my iPhone. That is not my to-do list in that I don't have it necessarily with like the timestamps and everything, because I think Google does that very well. So for me, I almost distinguish between Google as my calendar, and my calendar kind of serves as my to-do list. But there are other things that I think about and other tasks that I think about, and they almost first enter my Notes app on my iPhone, because a lot of times that's when I'm in transit. I'd be in an Uber and I'm like, okay, I'm just thinking about a bunch of things. I find it easier to just jot down those thoughts in a note. So
Notes is like the gestation phase of the to-do list.
Exactly. And then it's like, okay, this is something that I know needs to get done. And then usually when I'm back on my computer, I'll pull up my Notes app and I'll say, okay, let me try to now find time in my calendar this week to actually schedule it, right? So I think about it in Notes, and then I schedule it and operate on it based on Google Calendar.
Is your calendar scheduled out like pretty much the whole day's full 2 weeks in advance type thing?
Usually a week. I only operate with a time horizon of like this upcoming week. I try to keep it next week as open as possible, because I know that there's a lot of things from this week that will fall off and will end up taking up the time for next week. So, I haven't been in a situation yet where I enter a week and I'm like, I have nothing scheduled. I'm just chilling this week. Like, it hasn't happened. So it's very much a carryover philosophy. I mean, unfortunately, I've got some things on my calendar this week that have been carried over for, probably the last couple of months, but sometimes, prioritization works that way.
Now I want to get into your actual to-do list that you sent me.
Okay.
You start with email/WhatsApp reply. What's your inbox situation like? How do you stay on top of comms when you're moving between time zones and continents?
I check my email inbox almost 10 times a day, I would say. Very much a tab that's always open. I'm constantly checking it. I always have my phone in front of me as well. So I usually see things and I will flag them. And then in my calendar, I have two dedicated periods. So if you look at my to-do list, I've got first thing in the morning and then usually around the end of the workday, where these are dedicated 1 hour slots to actually go in and respond. So I'll always look at an email and I'll screen it when I first see it on my phone. But usually I'm just like starring it or marking it unread until I have a chance to actually go and reply. For me, it allows me to at least know what's happening, but without having to necessarily spend the time to go and respond right away to each one. A lot of the emails also require a bit more of a thoughtful response. I hate responding to emails on my phone. I want to be on my computer. I want to make sure everything is a little bit more intentional. Is definitely the app that I end up using the most. I use WhatsApp for friends and family. I use WhatsApp for my Global Nomad Pass team members. I use WhatsApp for potential business contacts. I use WhatsApp for anything and everything. And so what ends up happening with WhatsApp is that because there's people who are messaging me from all time zones, I wake up every morning and I've got people in different time zones who've already sent me multiple WhatsApp messages, and they've already been waiting quite a few hours in some cases by the time I've even woken up and seen the message, which is why I start every single day with a 1 hour dedicated slot to just respond. There's a backlog every single day. There's at least like 30, 40 messages on WhatsApp, not even accounting for email. Message response, whether it's on WhatsApp or email, definitely takes a lot of time. But I also realize that if I time box it and I have dedicated slots, then I can protect my time when I'm working on other things and not feeling that I'm constantly responding to messages and I'm interrupting my flow all the time.
All right, then 8 a.m. We have posts on LinkedIn. Your marketing is amazing. It's always on point. Like my whole job is marketing, and you are such an inspiration to me. Like, how does he do this? Are you writing these posts in the moment? Are you batching ahead of time?
Thank you. Usually what I do is on Friday, I create a content brief for my team and I. So I'll decide the following week. I like to post on LinkedIn 3 times a week. Usually it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I'll already craft the post. It takes a lot of time. So I'll craft the post properly with all the copy. And then I'll ask my team to, help, whether it's with research or with graphics or anything that we need, so that they know what they're working on between, let's say, Friday and Tuesday before the first post goes up. But then essentially I already have it. I don't schedule posts because that actually messes with the algorithm. So in the morning, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. So I will spend about half an hour and go and engage on the platform to warm up the algorithm a little bit before I post. And so I do that every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning before I post.
What role does personal branding play in Global Nomad Pass?
Most of our successful posts are posted from my personal account, not from the company account. And I think in general, people like interacting with individual founders, right? I think, there's a funny stat that Airbnb will post like a product update, and then Brian Chesky will post that same product update from his own personal account, and he'll get like 100 times the engagement. And so I post a lot from my account about Global Nomad Pass. Global Nomad Pass might reshare, but personal branding is a critical component of our storytelling, and people very much associate me with the brand.
Bi-weekly meeting with Marketing Greece.
They're one of our partners or one of our customers, and we have a bi-weekly sync with them. This is a 1-year engagement that we have with them. And so there's constantly things to talk about in terms of updates. We share data over, the last couple of weeks, what we're seeing. We can react to the data. We can iterate based on our plans. We've got a full 12-month marketing plan that has joint collaboration efforts. And so we review the marketing plan saying what's coming up. Do we need any lead time to do X, Y, Z? So it's a really helpful touch point just to make sure that we're staying connected, looking at the data, iterating, changing our plan accordingly, and then also gearing up for what's next.
All right, 9:30 we are. Global Nomad Pass marketing team meeting. Are you managing a full team now? How do you keep everyone aligned when they're remote or
certainly a growing team? Yeah, it's async, it's remote. Our entire company is, and that's where we use WhatsApp. So we use WhatsApp very, very actively to just have quick conversations, ask quick questions as needed. A lot of asynchronous updates as well. Everyone has a work plan, and they know exactly what they're working on at all times. The work plan has deliverables, etc. Nice. A lot of times we need to schedule separate meetings to go deeper on certain tasks, working sessions, brainstorms. This is like the standard time in the calendar where we all get together and we make sure that there's any company-wide communications that need to be discussed, or if anyone needs any help. But usually the agenda for this meeting is already set ahead of time and shared on WhatsApp a few days before. It keeps us organized.
Or present proposal to tourism board. You present a lot of proposals.
Yes.
What's your go-to setup? Do you have a ritual for getting into proposal mode or any hacks to keep from overthinking it?
Not really. I mean, we have a pretty standard value proposition that we like to talk to each destination about. But usually, by the time we've got a meeting scheduled with them, we've already had some email exchanges or some conversations, so we know exactly what they're looking for. So each proposal is a custom effort. Takes hours upon hours to develop a proposal, and so this is just the 1 hour slot we have on the calendar to present it. But I mean, there's almost 10 to 15 hours worth of work that went into it.
Wow. All right, 11:30, we got fintech, discuss collaboration. That's a big switch from tourism proposals to fintech. Do you experience task switching fatigue? Okay, yeah.
No.
That's the main thing I saw when I saw your to-do list. I'm like, my brain.
No.
Revolt.
Well, you'll notice that all of my meetings are coded in red. So I try to block all my meetings together. So for me, it's not task switching. It's like I'm in meeting mode, and then I switch on to the gray, which is independent work mode. And then blue is email and WhatsApp. The colors for me are like my task switching blockers. On the fintech one, it's like, yeah, sometimes there's a company that reaches out, wants to talk about a proposal or an opportunity to collaborate. So this is more experimental, and we kind of see where the conversation leads us.
All right, then we got lunch. Then we got prepare partner update message for Buenos Aires. Are partner updates more like formal reports or friendly check-ins?
A bit more standardized formal reports that get sent out to all of our restaurant, cafes, co-workings, all of our local businesses, just giving them an update of where we are with our traction in Buenos Aires, what are they seeing as well, what's coming up as well to get them excited. So it's just a communication to make sure that they know that we still want to very much maintain this relationship with them.
Nice. Then 1:30 p.m. you have create Arallo, post campaign report, and verify analytics. That's for 2 hours. That's a big one though. What metrics do you actually care about post campaign?
I mean, this particular one, clicks, engagement, brand mentions, and so we collect a lot of data, but it takes time for us to then go through the analytics and make it into a report that's coherent that we can actually share out. So that's why there's a 2 hour block there, because that's all independent time for me to kind of go through and make sure that our data and our storytelling can be wrapped up nicely before we end up meeting with the customer, usually the next day or two.
All right, then 3:30 to 5, we got follow-up with leads, update CRM. What's your process for follow-ups? Is it templated or like totally custom?
Completely custom, usually via WhatsApp or email.
Wow.
But we have a CRM, which keeps us organized, and we can kind of gauge where we are in the process with the CRM with each and every customer. What are the next steps?
What CRM do you use?
We've actually built our own on Notion. So we don't use
that's crazy.
Yeah, we don't use HubSpot or Pipedrive or any other ones. For us, we needed something that was actually a little bit simpler. A lot of the tools that we found out there were over-engineered for what it is that we needed. And so we built our own Notion template that we've now kind of adapted to be our CRM, and it works perfectly. It's like a nice Kanban board. We can move things from one column to the other, and it's super easy and gets us everything we need.
All right, I'm going to read these next few but skip through them because I think you've spoken to them earlier in the day. All right, 5 to 5:30, we got approved Instagram content calendar. 5:30 to 6:30, email, WhatsApp reply again. 6:30 to 7:30, gym. 7 to 8, shower. 8 to 9, dinner. I am curious with dinner, or meals in general, is this a time where you're taking the opportunity to either if you're in a city where it's a new Global Nomad Pass destination that you're checking places out, or are you taking meal times to like chill and do nothing, or time to hang out with your wife?
So my wife and I eat all of our meals together. It's kind of the only time we really make sure that we talk and catch up, and it's really important that we keep that time, and that's pretty sacred. It's no phone, just engage with one another. We like to cook, certainly during the week, and we're just in this productivity mode. So sometimes we don't want to necessarily lose time by going out and exploring. A lot of times weekends are that. So I try as much as possible to not work on the weekends. I have a very active Monday to Friday so that I can really enjoy and decompress on Saturday and Sunday. And that's where the exploration and the city and visiting the city comes in. But during the week, a lot of it is cooking at home.
Then 9 to 11, you have create proposal for tourism board. Another proposal, what motivates you to work this late? Do you do your best deep work at night, or is it just a time zone and startup reality?
No, I actually do feel like I do my best strategic work at night. A lot of times I can't get into deep strategic thinking during the day because there's meetings, it's a lot more reactive stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
At night, I can really kind of think a bit more strategically and not feel like I'm as time boxed actually. So building a proposal, like I mentioned, it's very strategic in nature. It's very custom. So for me, I like to do them at night.
And then 11 to 12, you have discuss Japan expansion. Is this a call?
It is a call. Yeah, it's red.
Is this
it's another meeting. Okay. And I have all of my
How do you handle calls this late? I'm sorry, what?
All of my meetings with Asia are at night because of the time zones.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm either in Europe or in Latin America or in North America, and so with a 12-hour time zone, sometimes it's kind of the only time that works for our Asia
Yeah.
context. I'm okay with it because it's the last thing that I have on my to-do list before I go to bed. So, for me, I'm always in work mode. I'm happy to talk to them at any point, and really, it allows me to have a conversation that could hopefully allow me to sleep well at night if it goes well.
And are you able to just fall asleep right after the workday's done?
No, no. I mean, I sometimes
Yeah.
have no choice because I don't really have time to decompress or anything. I'm eating. That time is eating into my sleep hours. But
Yeah.
the mind is racing.
Final question. If you could
Yes.
see anyone's to-do list, who would it be? Whether that be a real person or just a job or anything.
Ooh, that's a great question. I'd probably say I'd love to see someone like Brian Chesky, Airbnb CEO. Airbnb is a company in my industry, and I'm a consumer. I'm a fan. I'd love to see how he spends his time. But also, I'd like to see other companies at my stage and how their founders spend their time. There's always things that I could be learning, and I'm curious to see if anyone's figured out a different way of doing things because I think this is really difficult. This is my day-to-day reality, and it's hard. I'm juggling a lot. It's hard. There's always room for improvement, always room for optimization. So even if there's, one or two little hacks that I can learn from somebody else, I'm all for it.
Well, if you text me a list of the people who you feel are like your competitors or people at your stage, I'll try to get them on the show and then
Yes.
reveal their to-do list to you.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
Eventually, I'll try to get Brian Chesky on down the road, hopefully.
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know you have a very busy schedule, so really appreciate it. It was great to learn. I'm inspired and overwhelmed.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Jen. Chat soon.
I'm Jen Tracy, and you've been watching The To-Do Show. If you're curious about how other people tackle their days, and honestly, who isn't, there's another conversation right here that'll probably surprise you. Go check it out. And here's something interesting. There's actually research showing that people fall into 8 distinct patterns when it comes to how they organize their lives. Productivity and psychology experts like Adam Grant and Gretchen Rubin have been studying this for years. We built a quiz based on that research, and people keep telling us it's weirdly accurate. It takes about 5 minutes, and you'll understand why certain systems work for you and why others never stick. Head to thetodoshow.com or check the link in the description to take the quiz. And please, please, please hit subscribe, and you can check that off your to-do list.